And we're live. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 5 of Story Onboarding. This is on, right? We're all good? We're great? Oh, we're so great. We're so great. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing fantastic personally, It's just got through midterm season, which was, a lot, but not so bad for me. I'm only part-time in college right now. If I was full-time in college right now, I'd probably feel like dying, but currently I feel pretty good. So I think we're good, unless Davis comes running in and telling me that we're not good. I'm gonna go with that presumption that we are good. It's always good to have hope, have hope in things that things are just working perfectly, Some would say that's misguided. They're probably right. But so today in Story Onboarding, I'm going to be doing Act 3 of my novel. So this is the end. This is the climax, the je ne sais quoi of writing. In the previous 2 episodes, I went through Act 1 and Act 2, so the beginning and then the middle. And now we're at the end. We're at the dessert. We're at the final chapter, except for there's 9 chapters that I'm going to go through. And little thing, I'm not sure it will be 9 chapters exactly, but this is the ending. This is the last act of the Hunger Games. This is when they're starting to head into the Lion's Den in Harry Potter. It's not the Lion's Den. It's like this. They're finding the Sorcerer's Stone. It's gonna be great. So that's what we're doing today. My dad might be joining us a little bit later. I'm gonna bounce back some ideas off of him. He's always great for that. He's got a lot of ideas himself. Some of them are really great. Some of them I'm like, what are you thinking? No, they're always great. They're all great. Awesome. I'm so pumped. So with that, let's get started. Sick. I think that worked. Davis, what's wrong? You can come up. You don't have to crawl.
Hi.
What's wrong?
I'm making you louder.
You're making me louder. Am I too quiet? I can be louder, gang. Sorry. Okay. Are we good? Can I keep going?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right, gang. Okay. Endings are great. Endings are hard. I don't know about anyone else, but this is the one I struggle with the most. I am so great at coming up with so many ideas and where they're going to keep going and what's going to happen, but I'm not great at ending things. And I think there's some psychology there to talk about. But I do have an ending for this book, mostly because I think I have a decent theme. And my theme is not our pain. That's the opposite of the theme. Our bonds are stronger than our pain. So with that theme, I have to show that coming to fruition. I have to show that, through their journey together, through Ashley's journey, her friendship with Ember, her learning to trust Director Fallon, her getting over her demons, defeating them, proves that that statement, the theme, is true. So the ending has to reflect that. But the ending also has to kind of combat that before it can reflect that, if that makes sense. There's a contesting idea that no, it's not stronger. And I want to embody that through what happens, because there's, trust that they're going through. And is that trust might be broken? And if it is broken, how are they gonna, get over it and stuff, all the things. Okay, let me do a little switchy switch. Oh, perfect. You can't quite see it. It's a little off the edge, and the thing's trying to find me in the middle. That's okay. We'll just, let me just move to 3. No, not 3, 2. This is Act 3, baby. And we're going to go over all the different ones. There's 9 points in this act. And you'll see over here, I have... Why'd you run out like a So you see over here, I've made some notes through each act, what they include, and I have down here Act 3, which starts calm before the storm. How did I write this? Calm before the storm, pinch. Wait, is it that way or how did I write this? Why did I write it this way? Okay, calm before the storm. I believe it's pinch. Darkest point, power within, action, converge, battle, climax, and resolution. Sick. Okay, great. That's what I'm doing, and those are my great notes. I'm going to update that a lot more next week once I have it actually written out. I'm going to going to be great. Okay. So, and I also have my notes here. No, I don't. They're on the screen. That's where they are. Okay. So, Act 3. Going to go the first part. Calm before the storm. Now, if you remember last time, the last thing I believe we left off is there was a battle between Ashley and Ember, and they had captured Conrad. Conrad was getting under their nerves, you know, it was being a problem, and eventually they lose him. He gets away, right? And all the evidence they have that they used to have is gone, because the guy got away. And now they come to a point where Ashley has to make a choice. She's like, okay, do I continue not to trust Director Fallon and the rest of Saber in order to pursue my own goals because of my beliefs before that they're not to be trusted? Do I continue this action, this path I'm on? Or do I choose to trust Ember, who's telling me to make the other choice? Do I choose to trust Director Fallon? And in the end, she does. And she tells Director Fallon all about Gauntlet and what they found out so far. They're like, hey, there's this organization of highly powerful individuals that are feeding into chaos, into destruction all across the globe. And Director Fallon believes her. So this then leads, the story changes. Instead of being a secret mission, this is now a mission taken on by all of Saber. So now they are given so much support and they can go after the people that they couldn't go after before. So the choice ended up having great consequences, even though she was really worried that it would do the opposite, that they would be cut out. They're not. And we also brought back Professor Gray into the mix, that they brought in scientists from around the globe, and Professor Gray is one of them. So, let's see. Calm before the storm. The hero finds a solution, but now must overcome doubt or some other complication. Now let's just see what I wrote for this one. I don't have any paper notes today, gang. I've tried to put everything on Living Writer so that everything's on there so I don't have to keep going back and forth. And there are benefits to that, but I've also found that there are some consequences to that because I do everything from this computer. So it's very unfortunate because I keep coming to it back and forth. The things you learn. Okay. Why does it say trials? Okay. Now that the investigation for Gauntlet is in full force, Saber starts arresting anyone with connections to Conrad Grimm. They have to act quick because Gauntlet knows that they're onto them and they'll be burning their footprints for evidence. Professor Gray points out that should be their plan. A massive cover-up won't go unnoticed. They'll have to all be in contact with Conrad Grimm in order to enact it. Since they know how they contact him, they can track down the signals all to one place. They do this, and Ashley and Ember go to apprehend Conrad Grimm again, but this time they know it would be harder than the first time. So, I'm reliving the thoughts I had with this one. So now that they have all of Saber's resources, they have all these scientists, they have all this technology that they didn't have before, and with the knowledge that Conrad has given them about how Gauntlet works, is all their secret combinations and messages go through him. So, since they know that Saber's onto them, they have to start hiding things. And if they have to start hiding things, they are going to send a lot of these communications out. And if they can track those, if they can unearth those codes, those messages, or at least find a location, like triangulate them, like they always do in the cool sci-fi movies, or like, we've triangulated the caller, go get him. Although it never works in movies. They're always like, give me one more minute, and then they don't get another minute. And it's always like, oh, you were 2 seconds away from finding them. You never find them. But this time it's going to work in my book because technology is really good. You can find, people can like triangulate signals in like 12 seconds nowadays. Like the call does not need to be that long. Or like 7 seconds. I can't remember. So they triangulate all of these to an area and they're like, okay, that's where Conrad Grimm must be holding up. But they know that he's been compromised, so his security is probably way better than before. So Ashley and Ember go to apprehend him, but they also have a strike team behind them. So it's a full-blown mission now. And a little world building. In Saber, there were 3 missions. There was the investigative missions, there was the sabotage missions, and then there was the protection mission. So this would fall under sabotage because they're actively apprehending someone and halting somebody's course of action. Sick. So, yeah, Professor Gray is going to come a lot in this chapter. He's going to be in this chapter a lot because I like this character and he's my genius character. And even though this is not like the sort of science he does, I'm going to part of his character will be just like emulating the scientific and investigative method sort of thing. Like his main job is to develop technology for like people, for human biology, but he is also intelligent in other fields that come into play. And that investigative is, he just has a natural inclination for these things, so he's going to come up there. Chic. Okay, so then we got, that's Calm Before the Storm. It's pretty fun. What would I reference it to in other medias and other books? This is like when everything's going right before it all goes wrong. Hence the name, Calm Before the Storm. So, and then we've got another one. Pinch, plot twist, everything is worse than it was. And I'm sure you're saying, Sophie, that's really familiar. It should be familiar, because there's one of these in like almost every single chapter. I think so, because in Act 1, it's the second to last. In Act 2, it's not actually in that, but there are a ton of twists in Act 2, so they might as well be called Pinch. And then it comes back in the end, it's Pinch. I wonder why it's called Pinch. It's like, it's like when, like, tense. It's like, things get tenser, so I guess pinch. So things get pinchier. And so I wrote here, so they go on the mission. They fight through hurdle after hurdle to capture Conrad Grimm. And when they finally get to him, Conrad Grimm decides to take himself out, as well as send a false message to the leaders of Gauntlet to go nuclear. Okay, so this character, Conrad, I want to emphasize so much that he is a terrible guy. He is no bueno, okay? He sucks. And he is a prideful, he's egotistical, and so he's got this mentality when it comes to the point, they're gonna fight through all these guys, they really, like, they're a team, Ashley and Ember, they're cutting through his men. And it gets to a point where it's like, oh, okay, I'm a petty, so if you're gonna get me, I'm gonna take everyone else out in the process. And so with the power he holds, he sends a nuclear message to all the members of Gauntlet saying like, hey, we've collected all these like sources of energy throughout the world. Set them off. Blow it up. Cover your tracks impeccably. And it's going to set off a chain reaction that's going to lead to mass destruction. Because he's a petty guy. So, and further than that, Conrad Grimm's also going to blow up the facility. He likes to blow things up. He's literally, I want to make him like so slimy, and so I could set this up of just like, in the beginning, maybe he's like more composed. He's like kind of like slicked back hair. He's like perfectly like I have all the power in the world and I know it. And then it keeps building as they keep going after him, and it chips away at him, chips and chips, until he just kind of goes manic and he goes insane. And in this end, he just truly throws the biggest monkey wrench into their plan. So he's also going to blow up the facility they're in. So he's also going to try and take out Ashley and Ember in the process, and it's going to kill him. So he dies in this explosion. But then Ember, in this moment, she's been training this whole time up to this point, and she's gotten better to the point where she can shield the blast. So she gets in front of Ashley and she shields the fire, kind of bends it around them, protecting them from not dying. And it miraculously works. I want to really emphasize that this is like a really cool moment. So, but Ember's still going to get hurt from this. She's still going to take some of the blow, but Ashley's like much well recovered. Then Ashley goes to dig her out of the rubble, but discovers Ember's dark secret. So I imagine this moment, like they're in, like there's dust everywhere. They're in this rubble. Like the sun is like somehow shining down on them because they're outside now. It feels like everything got blown apart. And Ashley getting out, she's like looking for Ember, like where did she go in the explosion? She finds her, she starts digging her out, and she knows that like her armor is kind of charred off and stuff, and she'll notice like underneath all of the fireproof clothing, because Ember's gonna have fireproof clothing, she bends fire. She'll notice there's a booklet in Ember's pocket, and she'll pull it out, and this booklet will have like notes about Ashley's behavior and psyche with like pictures and notes and things that she's discovered, and like a timeline and all these things about Ashley's past that Ember has been collecting, and it's gonna hit Ashley that's like, oh, Ember has been spying on me this whole time. So it's so cool because Ember just saved her life, but now she discovered that she's been doing this the whole time, and I'm like, ugh. Has everyone ever been like been betrayed before? Like somebody kind of did something like you didn't expect them to do, and it just really messed you up. But has anyone ever like recovered from that, where like there was kind of a secret between you and your friend and came out, but you guys worked through it? It's hard. Like this, it's hard to kind of get over that initial like, oh, you betrayed me. Because I know a lot of people, it's just like, you're done. You're done. You can't come back from it. I feel like that's a little sad. I feel like people generally should try to seek resolving issues and seek forgiveness and seek, when they can. But if you can't, I totally get it. You shouldn't be around people who keep making the same darn mistakes and betraying you. So yeah, it's going to be rough. So in this case, it's just like, this is going to, especially because Ashley has made so much effort to actually trust Ember. Like, they've become friends at this point. It wasn't like at the beginning where she was hating on her, she was ignoring her. Through all the things they've been through, they were like partners, they were investigators, they were kind of partners in crime almost. And then Ember convinced her to trust Director Fallon. She did, and it ended up being for the best. They got closer to finding Conrad. But now it's like, oh, what was it all for? You were lying to me from the very beginning. Was any of that foundation that we started from mean anything now? It's so rough. So it's like I said, it's coming to the test now. It's like, can Ashley learn to trust again? Like, she just started to trust again. It faltered, and now it's like, can it be built back up? It's so great. So that leads to the next part of the story, which is the darkest point. Darkest point. Everything seems lost. It's very succinct, very clear. Everything's lost, okay? That's the and specifically for Ashley, Ember is in the ICU, but that's, who cares? So let me switch to, nope, not that one. So Ember, I wonder if, can I click on this? Will it come up? Nope. Nope, no, it won't. All right, Ember has been spying on Ashley the whole time, reporting to Director Fallon everything they did and taking notes on Ashley's psyche, all because Director Fallon thinks that Ashley's responsible for the murder of an important scientist during her 6-month capture. Ashley feels deeply betrayed and confronts Ember as she's recovering. They fight and say a lot of hurtful things to each other. Ashley leaves. So I want to give some credit to Ember and Director Fallon in this story, okay? They are not just investigating Ashley because of some mistakes she made or something. She's their number one suspect in a murder investigation. And so, from Ember's perspective, she's teamed up with this person. This person's been kind of volatile. This person's kind of been a loose wire, loose cannon of sorts. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to investigate this person. I need to gain her trust because this scientist guy, this person in this community, was killed. And he was killed through electric shock despite being in a place where there was nothing that generated that amount of energy. And so this person who's like, in your mind, infiltrated Saber is potentially a threat. Like, do they actually work for Gauntlet? Like, are they lying? And so you get to know this person, they ignore you on these missions, they won't train you, like they're being kind of rude to you. And then they tell you that they're going after Gauntlet, that they're looking for these people who kidnapped them. So it's like, oh, they have a taste for revenge. Like, oh, is this person maybe not trustworthy at all? So I'm going to keep investigating. And you keep telling your boss, Director Fallon, this. And then you find out that, oh, no, her investigation is totally valid. There are actually these people out there that are coming after her, and they're coming after other people. Oh, no. So doesn't mean that she's not a part of Gauntlet, but then who is she? It's like this thing. So she's also starting to trust her as well. And then through the course of the story, I don't think I highlighted when this happens, but eventually Ashley's going to come clean and be like, I don't remember what happened. Be like, oh, my 6 months, it's a complete just blank period. And you're going to realize, oh no, does Ashley not even know that she might have killed this guy? And, you know, that's pretty traumatizing in itself. Maybe that's the reason she can't remember anything, is because she, you know, she killed him. She doesn't know. So you're kind of torn. So it's like, do you trust this person or not? And then as Ashley like chooses to trust them more, it's kind of getting to the point where like, oh yeah, maybe coming to the conclusion, like maybe we just don't know. But that aside, Gauntlet is the bigger fish here, the bigger thing to focus on. So it's confusing from Ember's perspective, but from Ashley's perspective of what we know so far, it also like that you could feel so betrayed from that, because it's like, oh, how could you think I would do something like that? And then in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, but what if I did do that? Because Ember also saw that Ashley almost took out Armament. Like that was the thing that almost happened. So it's like, I'm working really hard to make sure like both sides of the argument are valid, because that provides better conflict if you can kind of get behind both. And it leads to like cool motivations. I love it when this can happen. It's also true for real life. And like if you look at, I mean, not in all cases. In some cases, I'm like, you were clearly in the wrong. But if you like ever looked at that, like, am I the a-hole on Reddit? I love that. Usually it's like so obvious. But sometimes it's actually like a little harder. Like you could see it from both sides. So, and that's what I want to hear. I want people to like both these characters, but understand why they're both upset. And that leads to the next part of the story. The power within. The hero finds the courage and the strength to carry on. Carry on my way. I'll read this. Okay, Ashley finds herself in the chicken corner, reassessing her plans for revenge. While all of Saber is trying to stop the nuclear option from going off. Oh yeah, in the midst of this interpersonal conflict, I forgot I made the world about to end. So in between all of that, she looks back at their, like, they've got like that board of like suspects and lists, and she realizes like, oh, there's a connection between the scientists that Director Fallon and Ember think I killed, and Armament, that there's a connection between the two of them there. So due to what Ember says, she realizes that her past with Armament is not as black and white as she thought. She starts to like kind of like remember a few things. Like this, it's so cool. I like this idea that like Ember's given her like the final piece. Like she's been collecting things the whole time. She's collecting Conrad. She collected Armament. Like she knows like these people were apart. Conrad kind of alluded to some things, like the timeline of what happened. Like they took her here, blah, blah, blah. But then this mystery scientist, this guy that she apparently took out, like that's like the final piece. It's like, oh, and she starts to kind of like remember things. Not amazingly, but like she starts to like get more hints of like, oh, what happened. And she remembers that when she was captured and being tested upon, the scientist that was conducting experiments on her powers was also Armament's handler. Ashley remembers that Armament's strange cold temperament is due to a device made by the scientists. Ashley did accidentally kill the scientist during one of the experiments gone wrong, but when she did, this guy who was also testing on Armament could no longer alter the device. So Armament's stuck the way he is, kind of because of Ashley, which this whole time, like, wildly been finding Armament's kind of like hated her, like rage, and she's like doesn't know why. She's like, who's this guy? Like, now she knows why. It's because she killed this guy, and this guy. So this device, Armament's character, this reveals more about, like, I'm gonna allude to this during their fights, but he has like a device like in the back of his head, right? And this device completely like gives his body the chemicals like to be stronger, to like adrenaline. It's like a steroid box. Like it mitigates everything in this and everything in your brain and everything. So that's why he's like almost constantly aggressive in adrenaline, but also shockingly like cold. Like he does not feel certain emotions at all, and he comes off. That's why he's like a demon. That's why this whole time she's like demonified him in her head, because it's like inhuman the way he's acting. And it comes to learn that he's not like this way necessarily on purpose. I want to point out, like, he's not like like mind controlled. Like he is following their orders, and he did sign up for these testing to like become stronger, because this does make him kind of inhumanly strong. But it also takes away his humanity, and if he could feel again, if he could know that that's kind of what he's doing, who knows what decision he would make. But this is something he kind of did go for. So he's still a villain, still a bad guy, but now you kind of know more about what happened here. But also it kind of reveals that like, oh, the scientist has connections to Gauntlet. And if he has connections to Gauntlet, that gives her a lead on where to find armament. So that leads to the next little bit. As you say. Action. The hero takes action and overcomes the plot twist before taking on the overall issue again. I want to say it's like, I'm not quite following this, because she's not overcoming the plot twist of, oh, can I trust Ember again? She's kind of taking on like the original problem she's had this whole time of, I have this event that's happened to me, and I don't know what happened, but whatever happened has changed the way I act, and I can't seem to recover from that. Okay. Ashley goes after armament. The two don't fight at first, but speak about what Conrad Krim has done and armament's motivation. So this is like, every single time they've always thrown hands. This time she goes after him, but for a moment they're just gonna talk. This is the first time I want them to talk in like the entire book. Like the entire time he's been like an inhuman demon coming after them. It's just like this blade, this sword that's coming down on their necks. And this is the first time after she remembered this past and remember kind of what she did to him. Oh, he is a human, and it's great. So Ashley humanizes him in her mind. Something in her is freed. The two of them then fight. They're going to fight eventually. And Ashley gets his communicator from him while he gets away. Through this, she gets the location of the first power plant turned bomb. So the mechanics of how I'm like, what Conrad Grimm did is like, there's going to be like a network of energy plants, of power plants. And if you set one off, it causes a chain reaction to cause all the other ones. So that's why Saber is in complete like disarray, because they don't know which one's going to start, and they can't protect all of them because there's like hundreds. But through this, after going after armament, she gets the information from him which one it is. So now she can stop. And this is also like a part of her that becomes more selfless, because the world's ending and she's going after her selfish kind of need for revenge by going after armament. But she in that moment after she fights him, she realizes, like, they talk like, oh, this is what happened. Like, final piece kind of clicks. It's gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, I should probably do the right thing. Gotta go. You ever have that moment where you're like, I shouldn't do that? I know. And then, boom, Converge 3.6. Everything comes together. The main plot, subplots, the conflict, etc. The big event is imminent. It's coming together. Why am I not using my mouse? Why am I looking at the TV up there? I should look at you. What up? Okay, it's an Iron Man mouse. Am I gonna get copyrighted? Okay, Converge. That should be Saber. Back at Saber headquarters, Professor Gray, Ember, and Director Fallon are handling the fallout and preparing for the worst. So this is a cool moment where, for the first time in the book, we're going to switch to Ember's perspective, because now that we know everything about her, or not everything, but we know that her big secret. So in Ember's perspective, she's going to like kind of think about what she did and kind of add some context of like, this is kind of why I did what I did. Humanizing her to the audience is my idea, because I want people to understand she's not a bad character, she's a bad person. She just made a bad decision or did something kind of cruddy. So, and then Ashley calls them. She reaches out, tells them where the disaster is going down. So she's going to reach out to them again, which is also overcoming the plot twist. She's like, okay, I obviously can't do this on my own. There are more things important, and despite betraying me, she can kind of understand why they did it to a point. And so she's reaching out to them. She needs them. And it's going to be shown that there's a lot of growth here in Ashley. Like, she's going to trust them despite of their lies. And this is like an arc I want. Like, you don't trust someone because they never lie. You trust them because their truths mean more than their lies. Because, frankly, we all lie, unless you're Applejack. We all have lied at least once. But coming clean and then staying as clean as you can is what matters. And so and trusting someone despite that is a lot of growth. So because of this, Ember suits up and they converge at the disaster site. I have to be named later, that's funny. Ember apologizes and Ashley forgives her. Ashley also apologizes and they call it even, trust is restored. So they all suit up to go after this thing. And I like this, like, in the world perspective, this is like an SOS. This is like, I don't want to say like extinction level event, but this is pretty bad. There's going to be a bunch of really big explosions all over the world. And so the entire world's like freaking out. So lots of Saber agents like can't get out of travel. Like no planes, all planes are grounded. Everything is out. Yeah, and it's going to be good. Like lost my track of thought. Wait, that's right. No, train of thought. I was like, I reversed it. It was thought of track. I'm like, wait, that's not right either. Okay, and then that leads to the next one, which is battle. I wanna do it. Okay, the hero fights the villain and or tackles the overall issue full force. So they're going to this power plant that Gauntlet is planning to blow up and cause major disaster events all around the world. So at the disaster site, they have to go through an army of extremists, people who are just so loyal to Gauntlet that like we're gonna blow up this thing, like knowing that like they're gonna die. So to stop the core from overloading and going off. PSA: I know nothing about power plants or energy plants, nuclear plants. I should watch Chernobyl. I don't know if it's nuclear. It's just a power plant. I'll come up with the actual mechanics for it later. Anyway, they're a team led by Director Fallon. So Director Fallon's going in the field because she's a baddie. When they get to the core, they find armament is there guarding and the quickly overloading core. Part of me like doesn't like the fact that armament's going to be there because I want to like maintain the fact that he is agency, and I don't know if it's within his character to like be somewhere where he thinks he might die. But I also I also want him to be there for climactic purposes, and also because of an event that's going to happen near the end that's going to change him. So, I don't know. Okay. When they get to the core, they find armament there. Okay, Ember takes on armament, giving Ashley time to try and absorb the energy coming off from the core to allow Professor Gray. Professor Gray's also there. I'm going to shoehorn away for him to be there because I love him. And he's going to be there to like, as the scientist, you know, on the computer, shutting it down. It's not going to be a computer. It's going to be a big control board. So Ember's going to fight armament. So I guess armament doesn't have to be, but I need him to be there. Oh, I mean, okay. So the reason I want armament there is because the device, right? There's going to be an explosion later, a smaller one, but it's going to cause the device to short circuit, so he's going to be able to feel things again. And when that happens, I want him to kind of go through kind of another evil arc. It's going to be great. I shouldn't think ahead. I should think what makes sense now, because if Ember's gonna fight armament, Ember could just fight other people. She doesn't need to fight armament if Ashley's not gonna fight him. And I could just have the fact that Ashley breaks the device during their fight earlier, which also works. Okay, maybe I won't have armament in the final. Like maybe the pinch, the darkest point before, like that's when he shows up, and that's kind of like when it ends. And she breaks the thing. And it's also kind of like, that's kind of symbolic. Like, oh, she broke free. Okay, I'll decide. But Ashley in this chapter, so she's not going to fight because the core's like quickly overloading with like electric energy, right? And she's going to go and she's going to try and absorb it to slow it down. So it's like about to explode. She gets her hands on it and it's going to like flood her body basically with electricity. And she could do this because magic. And then we've got climax. The hero either triumphs or succumbs to a fatal flaw. Boof. So Ashley's fatal flaw is the fact is her pain. She does not remember what happened to her, and it causes her to be untrusting, to be cold, to be mean, to be a bad person, basically. And so when Ashley starts to absorb the amount of electricity, it overwhelms and jumpstarts her mind. So it goes to her brain, and it unlocks that box, okay, the box of trauma that she... Instead of getting your loved ones a box of chocolates, get your loved ones a box of trauma. Anyway, it unlocks the box of trauma, and she gets a perfect, or, you know, as perfect as you can remember things, a recollection of what happened to her. So she remembers, like, in a moment, in that flash of, like, electricity flushing through her body, she starts to remember. And this is going to be, this chapter, this part, is going to be like a big mental battle about if she's going to succumb to that pain or if she's going to overcome it. So, because earlier this hinted at it. I hinted at it with Professor Gray. Professor Gray's like, hey, your brain forgot this for a reason. It's trying to protect you. Remembering could be dangerous, especially all at once. And it's going to mimic, it's going to actually happen. She starts to remember things all at once. She starts, you know, like going off the rails. It's like in that scene in Puss in Boots 2 when you start having a panic attack. And it's like, oh, I love it when they animate it, like the fur rising and everything slows, and it's just like it's a high tense but also like slow down, like you can't move moment. That's happening for Ashley. And if she doesn't continue to bend electricity around her to keep absorbing it, if she stops, they're gonna die. So big stakes. So during this moment, she thinks about everything that happened to her, what she lost, but then she also thinks about what she gained, the friends she made, the trust she rebuilt, the person she started to reclaim even despite what happened, which is impressive when you remember what happened. And so it's gonna through this journey that she's gonna kind of like, she's gonna make it. She's gonna do it long enough, and Professor Gray managed to shut off the power plant. And Ashley takes all the energy that's stored in her body and she floods out of her, like into the ground around. And it's going to, see, this is what I had. It was going to hit Armament and it was going to hit Ember. It was going to kind of like, Ember's already super powered, but it's kind of like going to give her a boost sort of thing. Like the energy is like so powerful, it almost transforms into something else. Like this energy that her father was originally getting from the thing that started all this, the wave of energy that went through the earth. It's going to become that because it's so potent and powerful. And it's going to hit Ember and it's going to hit Armament. And it was going to break Armament's chemical device, and it was going to superpower Ember. So after this, she's going to have to deal with that. But I could just have it do the one thing. And then the two friends share an important moment, so they're gonna be like, bro, and they're gonna hug. It's gonna be great. Okay. That's the climax. That is the finale. And then we got one more thing. Resolution. I tie up all loose ends. I make sure hero has changed in some way. Some way. So, Ashley has healed a bit. She has a long way to go, but she's reclaimed a bit of who she was to become a person she is now and that she can better be. Her and Ember are friends again, as well as partners in crime still. Ashley trusts Director Fallon more now, even though she still harbors some doubt. You can't always trust her. Gauntlet has reached international infamy, and Saber has been assigned to dismantling it. So, Saber's not quite defeated. They stopped Conrad's plot to just blow up the world, but Gauntlet's still out there somewhere. So, they're partnering up. They're getting their gear. They're going to keep going after this, They're agents of Saber. Ashley and Ember have a long path ahead of them, but they're finally suited to accomplish it. Armament, freed from his emotional suppression, is a wild card that they have to wild down. So it kind of ends on kind of ambiguously, because, big bad guy isn't completely gone, Gauntlet still exists. They didn't, defeat Gauntlet, but they just stopped, Conrad's plot. and they didn't really stop armament. He's still out there, but they did kind of weaken him. So, yeah. But Ashley's growth of becoming the person she wants to be again, that is the resolution of the story. And that's, besides all like the big world stakes things, that's the one that comes to full resolution within the book. That's the one I want to focus on. And also her partnership with Ember, because they're buddies now. And, if I ever decide that like I want to keep going in the series, which I've definitely left a lot of things open to do that, I would probably continue with Ember's perspective and do a little thing with that. And maybe they would make a team, maybe they meet more people, who knows? I don't really know. Original version of this had a group of 5. It was very Power Rangers-esque, where I had someone for earth, water, air, fire, air. I said air already. And that was a whole thing. But after I said this in the original, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore because I just want to focus on Ashley and Ember, and I don't need all these other people to do that with all their subplots. So I didn't. I don't have a lot of subplots in this. I guess there are missions. I guess you could call those subplots. But that's what I got. And that's the whole book. So, from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3, things that started, things that progressed, and things that ended. It's pretty darn fun. So, what I want to do next, because I have each chapter kind of written out now, and I have everything kind of plotted out. Did I want to review and kind of like see what aspects like traveled and followed throughout the book? Because like there are a few things I have to keep track of, like all the secrets I have to keep track of, like, oh, when those are being unraveled, because I didn't make it quite clear, because Ashley's main secret is that, oh, I don't remember what happened to me. That's her secret. That's what people don't know. So I have to make sure, like, what does everybody know? What does Professor Gray know? What does Director Fallon know? What does Ember know? But then what is the truth? I'll do everybody's perspective. And then Ember's secret, that she's spying on Ashley. Who knows it? Who doesn't know it? And when do they know it? Because everything kind of comes out eventually. Everybody's secrets get told. Make notes of this. So I want to go to, maybe I can make that into a thing. So I've got like in Living Writer, I've got these elements. I've got characters, organizations, arcs and messages, and places. Maybe I can go through and make another group called Secrets. Secrets. Let's make another one. Name Secrets. This is going to be element type secrets. Okay, let me move to 3. No, not 3. 2. I always forget. Secrets. So these are the aspects and plans. Is that my father? Hi, Dad. Are you joining in? By the way, what percentage is my phone at?
Your phone? Where? This one?
Yeah.
Can't tell.
Can't tell? Because it's not plugged in, and it gets pretty low. So I'm kind of worried it's going to die. In that case, you guys can't fall on my face.
David,
my face is great.
Can you plug in Sophie's phone? And can you take this for me? While she's...
Okay. So, aspects and plans of all the characters and notations of when they get revealed. With notations of when they get revealed. When they get revealed. Hi, Davis. Thanks.
You're getting a phone call.
I'm getting a phone call from who?
Naomi.
Why would she call me? She's supposed to be watching my stream.
Maybe it's related.
That would be funny. Well, I will call her later. Oh, wow, I've missed a lot of calls from people. Did somebody die? No, everybody's fine. Okay. These are the aspects and plans of the characters with the notations of when they get revealed, who knows them, and the effects they have. Okay, cool. I'm going to create this element. And I'm going to keep track of all these secrets, because I also got to keep track of Gauntlet secret. That one is really important, because having clear motivations for your villains is nice. Because then, but it's hard because I'm not an evil person, so I don't remember. You know, I don't know how to do evil things. This is my lawyer speaking. Okay, I'm gonna choose a nice color for this. What color should I choose, gang? Maybe yellow? One nice yellow? Nope, that's ugly. Still ugly. Okay, let's like a dark, like a nice yellow. Nope, I don't like that at all. We're gonna do blue. Oh wait, that was a nice color. I like that. Let's do that. Color.
Where would a person go, Sophie, to find your?
Should be on my YouTube channel.
How do I get to it again?
You go to on your YouTube app,
Yeah.
and then you go to your subscriptions, because you should be subscribed to me. Subscribe and like if you're liking this content.
Oh, there's my subscriptions. Plotting.
Is it live? Is it working? I hope I haven't just been talking to no one for an hour. I probably have, but I like talking to me. I'd be doing this anyway without you guys. But
what am I supposed to be seeing?
should be seeing me. Is it not working?
Oh, it is now working.
Okay, good.
Before it was like they had something else.
It was just like loading. Oh, that's probably because that's probably my other screen. There's a slight delay.
Oh yeah.
You should say something in the chat so I know it's working.
Hello in the chat. It's me, but I'd have to hear it live.
No, I mean.
It's like probably 20 seconds behind.
Yeah. No, I mean you should type something in the chat.
Oh, chat, that chat. Hi, all. I did say something in chat now.
Oh, yay, I see you. So it's working. Yay. Okay.
Okay, so it's only a few seconds behind.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We got an
That's
encoder.
Tight.
Tweet. Why
So-
does it have all these things? Okay. I want a new section in this. Why does it not work? Okay, add new note. New note. Okay, secret number 1. Okay, Ashley's secret. So every character is going to have a secret. Expand note. Woo, this is cool. I'm showing you guys. Okay. New note. Can I change this? No. Why is it not working? Oh. Ashley's secret. Okay. Ashley's, yes, cool character. Secret is that she does not remember what happened in the 6 months she was kidnapped. She was kidnapped. Everybody doesn't talk about it, so she has been faking it for a while.
Faker.
Yeah, she remembers at some point, she told some things to Professor Gray, but she can't remember what. Professor Gray knows bits and pieces of what happened based on her recovery, but does not have the full picture either.
Sounds like a problem.
So
Ashley got issues.
she's got a lot of issues. I just went through Act 3, so the ending portion of the book.
Oh.
In Act 2, I ended off with Ashley made the decision that she was going to trust Director Fallon, with her investigation. So she tells them all about Gauntlet, and then Director Fallon believes her and lets them in on the investigation with all of Saber. And then Act 3 is all about they go after Conrad Grimm, but then Conrad Grimm sets off nuclear plan, so the whole world's going to end in a little while.
How many acts are there?
There's only 3 acts.
Oh, so it's kind of your classic cool format.
Yes. This is with 9 parts in each, and Dad's looking over here. So I got Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and if
Because it lost you.
it lost me.
But it found you.
Wow, it really was just like, oh, it moved back. From my perspective, it looked like a.
It said, I'm going to the heavens.
I'm exhausted.
Okay, so Act 1.
This is about making Ashley and Ember a team. That's kind of Act 1.
I see.
And Act 2 is about them going after Gauntlet, them discovering the secrets of Gauntlet. That's like the overview. And Act 3 is discovering Ashley's past and saving the world.
Oh, that's so simple.
Simple. Easy.
Who would save the world in Act 3?
Well,
Save it in Act 1. It kind of is anticlimactic.
that'd be kind of interesting. What if you save the world in a book where you save the world in Act 1?
And then what do you do the rest of the book?
Well, maybe it's just the ramifications of saving the world.
Ah, maybe everything's boring after that.
Yeah, what if it's about a hero that
Just sit around going,
imagine this like a hero that saves the world in like Act 1, and then afterwards it's like, oh, I have no opposition or meaning in life.
and then they go about, that's kind of what happened in,
There's a book like that?
well, not the book, the movie, where the hero's kind of the villain. What's his name? Big head.
Megamind? Oh, it is Megamind. You're right.
Like super bored after that.
Oh my gosh. Another reason why that movie is better than all movies ever combined ever. Okay. Okay, Ashley's Secret. I have to mark when in the story it gets more revealed.
What's the program you're using?
Living Writer.
Oh.
The one that me and Mom use. I love you, Mom.
She's probably going to come in here in the next half hour. But,
Really? That's cool.
But I'm here for the fun.
I like you. You're lots of fun. Okay, Ashley's Secret. It's revealed in 2. So it's revealed in Inciting Incident that...
Is Ashley the main character?
Yes.
I should know more, but sorry.
Now you're good.
I'm a newbie.
No, it's fine. You should ask me questions and stuff. I do apologize. I should have put like the Act 1 and 2 like overview in the description, but I didn't have time. I did that with the last stream, and I thought that was kind of helpful. So I will do that in the next one, where I'll put more information. I'm going to post more information to my YouTube page so people can follow along without having to watch the whole thing. But you should watch the whole thing and like and subscribe. Okay, it's revealed Inciting Incident that she doesn't know. So it's revealed to the audience in this one. Doesn't know. And then...
Are you posting what you're writing, or are you just posting outlines and stuff? Are you actually going to show people what you're writing?
I do. I want to do like sessions where you guys, it'll split screen, kind of like this again, and you guys will, oh wait, I can just do this. And you guys can see what I'm writing, and you can say along the chat. I'll kind of like say my dialogue out loud. Like I'm literally just going to write on camera. I thought that'd be fun. So people will know kind of the whole story. But if people don't want spoilers, then that's unfortunate. The whole thing is spoilers. But you also get like behind the scenes stuff, because there's going to be stuff that I inevitably cut out and will only ever be available on this channel. So kind of some secrets.
Like a super insider.
Yeah. And people can also, I don't know, write bits and pieces if they want in the chat themselves. And if there's some really good golden ones, I'll ask for your permission to use it.
That's true. That'd be cool to see a book that's kind of written by...
like a community.
Like a community.
I thought it would be cute. Very cool, very cool.
Might be on set.
I hope so, otherwise I'm spending a lot of time on this. Okay.
Oh, so...
Okay, and then in Inciting Incident, it's also revealed that Conrad Grimm has something to do with it. Her past. Then something I probably should go over is like the actual events of her past, because I part of this is easy to say it's a secret. It's shrouded in mystery, but that's mostly because I don't actually have it completely written out, and maybe I should do that.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause here. Pause on this, and I'm gonna make another element. Characters. I'm gonna put this in Ashley's character element. So you guys can see here, I've got Ashley Park's character pulled up with her her description, her relationships, motivation, which I should probably put. I know that, but I don't have it currently on the screen. And I wonder if I can add, yeah, right here, add a new note called The truth of her past. Truth of her past. So the actual things that happened. So let's move to 3. You guys can see my nose. Look how long my nose is. No. Okay. Okay, let's choose purple. Okay, what do I want to have happen, like, explicitly in her past? What do I know? Okay, so in the timeline. I'm just gonna knock things over, why don't I? Okay. So, first thing that happens. Ashley is with her at her father's like experimental experiment thing, and she gets powers. So Ashley gets powers when facilities attacked. By the way, you should probably put a mic on.
Do I have, oh. Yeah, I gotta be part of the action.
You gotta be part of the action. Facility is attacked. So that happens first. Then what happened? Ashley, why are you dropping things?
Sorry, could you hear it?
Ashley gets taken because she's sparking.
She's sparking?
Because she has electric abilities, so her body's just gonna be like radiating electricity, and they're like, that's weird, and they're gonna kidnap her.
Can you hear me?
I think so, probably. I can.
She's a sparker?
Yes.
Is Ashley the main character?
Yes.
I asked that before, didn't I?
Yes.
So, why'd you pick the name Ashley?
I came up with it, I don't know, a long time ago, and I just always stuck with it. Ashley Parks. Or
That's a
Sparks,
pretty cool
if
name.
you're her friends.
Or they call her Sparks just for fun?
Amber does, because that's a joke.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, right? Because her last name is Parks, too. So.
If she took a job, she'd be an arc welder.
Yeah.
Get it? Because it sparks. I am funny, aren't I?
You're the funnest guy ever.
What?
You're the funnest guy ever.
Do you want me to sit next to you so I can be super funny?
Sure.
Yeah.
You come over here. Grab your chair.
No, because the camera will be so confused.
You don't want to confuse the camera. It's
Can't
already
have
working
that.
so hard. Okay.
Sorry.
Ashley, this is timeline. Ashley gets power when facility is attacked. Ashley gets taken. Then, by gauntlet, I should say that. By gauntlet. So, Ashley is kidnapped. Ashley is held by evil scientist guy, who I should give a name and for his character. It's kind of weird too, though, when I just know he's gonna die. So.
Dreadstone.
Dreadstone. I like that. Okay, Doctor something. Doctor.
Something stone.
Doctor Woodstone? No, that's ice cream. Doctor.
Hellstrom.
That's an evil name. I hope that.
Hailstrom. It sounds like a storm, but it's.
That's the name of a world in our D&D game.
Hellstrom?
Yeah.
Stop. I guessed that.
Yeah, that's where we're from.
Oh, there you go.
How about Dr. Faciliate? No, I'm just kidding. Dr.
Conniver. Like conniver. You know, he connives.
Dr. Blanken.
Blankenship?
Doctor. Somebody pull up lastnames.com.
What's
Dr. Eagle. I'm just kidding.
How about?
Sounds like evil.
Well, you know, what was wrong with Hellstrom?
I mean, it's just, okay, I associate it with different things. But I like Hailstrom. Is it German? Hailstrom?
Probably. You know, those Germans, they always got the coolest names.
Okay. Ashley is held by Dr. Hailstrom. Working title. Okay, and then Ashley is experimented on. So this will be the, PG-13, torture. I'm not gonna go into depth into it. I'm just gonna allude to things.
Hellstrom is a robotic launcher weapon that fires 4 small homing missiles that explode and deal heat damage. The weapon.
I thought you were gonna say like deal 2d8 damage. Oh my gosh.
It could be. I mean, it sounds pretty.
No, 2d8. It's a D&D term. It's because
I know that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forget you're
I'm
cool.
old school.
You're super cool. Did you play D&D in the 80s?
Yeah, we were the start of the D&D. Thank you very much. We invented the game. You guys are just, novices.
That's a good point.
No,
We've been playing for 20
I had a lot of friends who played D&D,
Mm-hmm.
and they would occasionally let me tag along because I was entertaining. So I was sort of the guy that came there for, comic relief.
Ah, you're the bard.
Yeah, I wasn't really as dedicated as they played for like hours on end.
That's cool.
I was more into women.
I was cool and I slept with women.
I did not sleep with
You
women.
did not sleep
My mom
with
might hear this. But
Grandma, if you're listening to this, Dad
you
was
gotta
a very
admit,
good boy.
if you're a serious D&D player, that pretty much absorbs your entire life. There's no room for socializing with the opposite.
But it
sex.
is socializing.
With a bunch of guys back then. No girls played D&D.
That's a good point.
It
Nowadays,
was
girls can play.
exclusively guys.
Man, I would have been so cool.
You would have been if you were the...
Hot
I didn't
commodity.
know. There was not a single girl that would even think about it. Besides, back then it was all considered,
Demonic.
demonic, and you were clearly going to be possessed.
So Ashley also powers weapons of mass destruction.
WMDs.
Destruction with her abilities. So this is like over the course of 6 months she's been kidnapped, right? Okay. Then something happens. Experiment goes wrong and kills the doctor. So Ashley kills him.
Hellstrom's dead.
Kills Doctor. Oh, but I should put first. Okay. During this whole time, let me move to 3. So I've added things. Armament. This is when Ashley meets. She would have met Conrad Graham because she remembers him because Conrad would come in and check on the progress and get the weapons because she was a source of energy, so she powered some weapons because it's untraceable energy. So that's where Ashley remembers Conrad Graham because he would check on the weapons. And then also Ashley would knows armament from his experiments. And I think this time they also trained her in ways because they were thinking about making her an agent if they could like coerce her into doing so. So Ashley knows armament from training and experiments. So armament was also her trainer, and he was not a great trainer, not a good Pokemon trainer, as they say. He was not a great guy.
He was a grunt.
Bad guy. Boom, boom, boom. From training and from experiments. And experiments. Then, okay, experiment goes wrong and kills the guy. Vent goes,
That's what always happens.
I know, right? And kills the doctor. Bad doctor.
Or they gain amazing powers that corrupt them into evilness.
Nah, this guy just dies.
Okay.
He was already evil.
Oh.
He didn't need to be less evil. And then she escapes somehow. How will she escape? I don't know. Should it be like directly caused from this escapee? And I imagine when she escapes, like, maybe where was she being held? What if she was being held like underground in a forest somewhere? And so like a good week is just her getting out of the forest, and that leads to the thing. Oh, Mom says we're looking amazing. That's so nice.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Speak again.
I'm speaking the Deutsch.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, there you go.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Okay, how will she escape?
Now, where is she in? Is she underground? Is she in a...
I think,
If she can control electricity, can she control electricity?
yeah, she can. So that could lead to her escape. But they know that though. So they're keeping her powers on lock only for their wants. And
They're grounded her, literally.
yes.
She's been grounded.
Ground wire.
Well, that's what you'd have to do. You'd have to ground her so that she can't emit any electrical magnetic pulses.
So they have to be somewhere very dry because they can't have any humidity in the air either.
Yeah, EMPs,
Yeah.
electromagnetic pulses, you should probably study those. Because that's considered one of the most powerful forms of warfare.
She's kind of an EMP itself because she can cause enough.
Yeah, that's my point, is that how do you stop an EMP? Because it's considered one of the most dangerous things in warfare is that EMPs can knock out entire cities.
It works by generating strong electric fields and magnetic fields that can induce surges of current and voltage in unprotected electronic circuits, leading to damage or failure. So maybe in this experiment, she kills. I haven't really explained how she kills the doctor, but what if the doctor has like a pacemaker, and she sets off this blast, right? Like eventually, like he goes too far in his experiments, it overwhelms her. She like gets angry and she sends out electricity everywhere, right? It causes the pacemaker in his heart to be fried, and also like that's just gonna hurt. And it also causes armaments device to get stuck, and then it also causes the entire building or the entire facility to go offline. So when it goes offline, maybe I like the idea. I've already done this, but I like the idea of things being underwater because no, I've already done that. I can't do it again unless I do it again because it's alluding to how she escaped the first time, so she remembers. Because in the end of Act 1, Amber and Ashley go and investigate this underwater facility, right? And they get caught eventually. And in order to escape, it starts flooding because they're going to flood the entire place. So they have to get out while it's flooding. And so they eventually do. They get into one of their escape pods and they get away, right? But if she'd escaped from the other facility in the same way, maybe that was also like how she knew how to escape the second time, but also could like cause flashbacks in her head too, so she knows she's on the right path. I like it. I'm doing it. Okay, they're underground. I've decided underwater base, underwater, under the sea, under the. Okay, underwater base. So she sends off an EMP. And I like the idea that like electricity is keeping this like place alive, but when that happens, water starts flushing in. So when she took that out, it like took out the entire thing. And then she's found off the coast of like hanging onto dry wood in the ocean. That's when they find her. So entire facility goes up in water. Fire facility gets flooded.
And if you don't want to do pacemaker, which kind of seems obvious.
Okay.
You could do insulin pump.
Ooh.
Where he's diabetic, and it spikes his insulin to the point where it just goes shooting into him, and it's
graphic.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom just said something in the chat. It says shows that she's learned from her past mistakes and can use it in the end. And she says, how about an underground base that has water in it because they're below the water because like is that like the connectic plates? Connectic?
Teutonic?
Yeah, thank you. Connectic.
Teutonic plates.
Where you go so deep underwater that you're also just like you're underwater because you go that deep.
You can't go very deep underwater. Nothing lives very deep underwater.
Well, this is magic. I can do anything.
Well, why do I have to go super deep?
Because they're secrets.
Yeah, but they don't have to go. Just know that it's tough when you're under the water very deep.
That's true. I will come up with valid reasons why it doesn't matter. Okay, but the point is...
Electricity and water is kind of an interesting concept.
It is, because it both depowers her and makes her extremely volatile. Because she could just take everybody out, but she'll take everything out. Because she's in water. Yeah. And she's not immune to electricity herself. Like, she can die off of electricity, but her body can handle water.
All humans are electrical beings.
Yeah.
I mean, evidenced by when you touch a pole and it snaps and practically electrocutes you, it feels like it. Mm-hmm. But, all of our things fire off of electricity. But, so, EMPs do not affect humans. They only affect machines.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect her too because she doesn't have faulty wires and stuff.
Well, none of us do, except for if you
Right,
have,
but she's super powered, so she has electricity course through her at like incredibly high amounts.
yeah. The question is, what generates her electricity?
So the idea was that her dad worked at this facility that was about experimental energy, and in space between dark matter, there's like an energy in space that you can kind of focus and you can extract from like the matter that holds things together and holds nothing together. That there's energy there.
Kind of like fusion.
Yeah. And so at this experimental facility, they were trying to conduct experiment to harness that energy, but then they get attacked by terrorists. And when that happens, it causes a deep explosion of this sort of fusion between matter to go across the entire earth. And it's like, it's an energy that cannot be touched, seen, felt, smelled, or heard. So it's completely invisible to the naked eye. But it spreads throughout the entire world. And once you, I don't want to say breathe it in, but once you absorb it into your body, it changes you molecularly,
On a molecular level.
on a molecular level, to the point where you can connect to different elements.
Sure.
He's not sold.
No, so I mean, it's not that much dissimilar from, any psychic energy, for example, which is, I know, controversial, but some people do accept that on a psychic level you can cause things to happen, much like, you watch in X-Men,
Yeah.
where people they're using psychic energy.
Well,
but
maybe in the
it's not like
grander universe there could be.
it's not magic. They're using energy in order to accomplish their little goals.
Well,
or
to be
major
honest, all of their powers are different forms of telekinesis. Because telekinesis is the power to move things with your mind. Ember has pyrokinesis, which is the ability to move fire with your mind. So they are, in a sense, it's through a psychic connection with matter itself.
Yeah, when I think of the word psychic, I tend to think that it just means that it's something that we don't quite understand, but we know it's true.
Yeah.
And that when people do telekinesis or pyrokinesis or aquakinesis, or in this case,
Electrokinesis? Is that the word?
electrokinesis.
It might be a better word.
Yeah, I don't know. Kinesis probably means something pretty dang good.
Electrokinesis, yeah. The ability to psychically generate, manipulate, and control energy. The slight difference is none of my characters can generate the ability. Okay, they can't just make electricity out of nothing. You gotta gather it from other things. Slightly different.
Well, that's very important.
Yeah, which is why Ember is gonna carry around lighters everywhere she goes because she can't just make fire. She has to have fire. So part of her gear will be just like torches.
Well, that makes sense because, in the triangle of fire,
It's found.
do you know what the triangle of fire is?
What's the triangle of fire?
You have to have three things in order for fire to exist.
Like fuel, air.
You have to have fuel, air, and something else. What's the third one?
Friction.
No. Oh,
Spark?
ignition.
Oh, ignition.
Yeah, spark. So without those three, you can't really accomplish much. You got to light the fire. You got to have the thing. You got to have air for it to burn in.
Right. So I don't want it to just be like in Avatar: The Last Airbender. They have it where it comes from the breath. They can really just create fire from. There's kind of an emotional, spiritual level to it in the Fire Nation. But I don't want that. I'm going to make it harder.
Yeah,
So other.
You can't. I don't know how dragons are supposed to be able to light fire unless the fire's already in them.
I mean, I can totally see how they have, magma and gas in their stomachs.
Yeah, but that's just fuel. You still have to. You could spew it out, but something has to. A flamethrower has an ignition at the end.
Somebody make a real
flame.
dragon.
What's that?
Somebody go make a real dragon where you make a spark. I'm thinking of the two-headed in How to Train Your Dragon. One shoots out gas, the other one lights it.
Yeah, well, the dragon doesn't make any sense unless it has some kind of igniter.
Okay, I have to introduce you to a concept before we continue because this will be very difficult. It's called the suspension of disbelief.
I have none. If it's not logical, I walk away.
There's going to be a lot of illogical things in here. Like the fact there's a secret Illuminati-esque group of people kind of influencing the world to be more chaotic. Can you get behind that one?
Yeah, it's called the U.S. government.
Oh, no.
Just joking.
Just joking.
Little political
Okay,
humor.
back to my timeline.
Oh, sorry, did I derail things?
Okay, so this is the 6 months of period. So the majority of the 6 months takes place here and here. These two things, and then these two things, and here. Okay, these three things, and then this happens in between. And then after that, she gets found and rescued from a team. They have no clue where she came from. She just showed up out of nowhere with these powers. She's clearly traumatized. She's clearly not having a great day. They reunite her with her family, but she's well, they don't do that yet. They have to help her.
Does she have
recover.
amnesia?
Yes, she has self-inflicted amnesia. So the concept of the book is that so your brain, when it experiences like something terrible and harrowing, it will actively choose to forget it. So This is a really extreme version of that, where she can't remember anything at all. So from the moment she was taken to her being rescued, it's blank.
Like PTSD kind of thing.
She definitely has PTSD.
Well, who could blame her?
Yeah, this is a terrible thing that happened. And then
doesn't she have to kind of some stakes, like she lost something besides the bad guys? Doesn't she have to have like a friend? She has to build something while she's there. Somebody has to have a little subplot in there.
Sorry, mom texted suspension of belief instead of suspension of disbelief. Well, she loses. I do want to emphasize that she loses her personality. Like beforehand, before everything that happened, she was kind of a fun person, kind of happy person. And then after that, she's not. So the person she lost is herself.
I hope she gets it back in Act 3.
She does! That's the whole point!
I just felt a little sorrow for her right there.
Yeah.
I felt a little part of me just want to reach out and hug her.
Yay.
I don't know who she is.
You would hug me.
I would, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But
don't hug me till after the stream.
How long is your stream been going?
Since 3:30.
You got 8 minutes.
We got 8 minutes. Okay, let me finish this up really quickly because I have to do important notes. Okay, so Professor Gray is brought in.
Don't you need a top-down view?
Professor Gray is brought in to help her recover. So he helps her physically recover from everything that happened. So she had a lot of broken bones, reset them, all the stuff, and also help her manage her powers because they're kind of haywire because it's kind of made off of emotions. So he puts some things together, gives her the technology, and then she goes home, is reunited with her family, but it's not a great situation because, she lost herself. So it's you get someone back, but they're not the same, and it's kind of weird now. So
that's probably a lot of people feel when their significant other comes back from war and stuff.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough on the whole family.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of loses a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because of this, so since she's not recovering, she can't go back to her old life. She decides she gets an offer to join Saber, and she chooses to accept it. So joins Saber, and then works as an agent.
Does she have like a dog or a brother or somebody like that?
I imagine her family situation is that she has both a dad and a mom, and they're not divorced, but they are kind of they lead separate lives. Is the sort of idea. And she lives mostly with her mom, except for when she goes to visit her dad, which is where she was when the facility got attacked. And when she gets back, she doesn't really get close with him again because he's kind of connected to the event that happened. So, because it's not his fault, but it's also why was I there? That's shocked.
She's got to have a sibling or something.
I imagine it's something she had an older brother, but I don't know.
She had to have lost something. Because otherwise, in the end, you got to get it back where we show that she can balance between the two worlds.
I could have it the fact that like maybe before she left, she had a best friend, and that when she came back, she wasn't the same person, so that friendship fell out. Like her
Okay.
Maybe that's what instigates her to join Saber, is that like she comes back, her best friend is like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Oh my gosh, you're back, I'm so excited. Let's go do all the things we used to do. And she's like, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm like, you're struggling to just like function. And the other friend gets mad at her for kind of acting a certain way, because Ashley's gonna act really mean and cold when she gets back.
I expect nothing less.
And so maybe she gets into a fight with her old best friend, and maybe the other friend dumps her, sort of thing. But she's just like, we're not friends anymore. Sorry, I can't do this. You're always a mess. That would be rough, but so she loses it because of kind of how she's acting, which then also carries on to the story, because that maybe like that's what makes her decide to join Saber. She's like, wow, this person who signifies my old life doesn't really want to hang out with me anymore. I'm going to join Saber, try to make something new. And that's also where she meets Ember, who becomes her new best friend.
Whoa.
Is that enough loss for you?
I think so. Friendship is good. Got to set it up, though, of course, but...
Yeah. I guess, like, because I go back to the theme. The theme is our bonds are stronger. I want to be in the center. Our bonds are stronger than our pain, right? But that is a certain bond where the pain was stronger and the bond couldn't handle it. So it's kind of a balancing act with being, not all the bonds in your life, the relationships you have with people are strong enough for the pain, but the good ones are.
I sometimes think, because I've lost a lot of friends over my lifetime. Not lost is the wrong word, but I finally came up with an analogy that helped me to accept it. And that, like a rocket has multiple stages.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the rocket takes off, you have to jettison the fuel tanks, because you've used all the fuel in them.
Yeah.
And they served their purpose to get you to your place that you went to.
Yeah.
And then a lot of my friends that when you're young, that you lose because you just move on, either physically or whatnot. You still thank them for what they did for you.
Yeah.
But the friendship is over. I mean, it's kind of like it had its time. And some people say, well, that then wasn't a real friendship. No, it was a friendship. It just wasn't, forever.
Yeah.
It had its moment.
It got you to a point. It's what you needed at that time, but the time is over.
Yeah. And you should just be grateful that you had the time that you had with that person.
Yeah.
And when it never comes back, it doesn't mean that it diminishes what it was.
Mm-hmm. I guess it just brings up into question, it's just like, I feel like some parts of the friendship might know when the time is up, but some parts of it might not. So
yeah, I think that happens a lot.
Some people can't contend with the fact that the time is over.
Yeah, like in high school. Sometimes your high school buddies and friends,
Boyfriends.
It was what it was. It was great for high school, but they don't last sometimes.
Yeah.
But there you go.
That's deep.
I call that the rocket stage. The rocket stage, friendships.
Well, it works in this case because this old friend is going to that's a good rocket fuel to get Ashley where I need her to be at the start of the story, which is a part of Saber. So.
There you go.
I like that.
Does that kind of is that the push up there and that gets us to?
Nope.
No.
That's all, this is all backstory stuff.
I love backstory.
Yes. I'm going to switch to it one more time so I can see it and I can put it in my notes later. That's what it looks like. Okay, great. Sick. All right. If you've been watching, thank you so much. If you're my mom, I love you. If you're not my mom, I only kind of love you. It's been so fun to do this. I'm so excited. Next few ones, I'm gonna actually get into it. We're gonna actually do some writing, okay? I'm gonna pull up on my thing here. Manuscript, Act 1, intro right here, okay? You see this? I'm gonna start writing. Epic first line, that's what's gonna be right here, pending. and you guys can join me to ride along. It'll be super fun. I'm gonna post all the descriptions of what's supposed to happen in each act, kind of maybe on the YouTube channel somewhere, so you guys can see, you can follow along if you're interested. And please like and subscribe. And if you want to, go check out the Hive Collaborative, either .com or on the YouTube. It's super cool. I love them so much. Thank you for helping me do this. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
And you guys should go out and do some writing. Ciao!